I've been waiting for this.
What's good, everybody? We're here with Pokchop 50. We want to start our new interview series once again. Get some people that you guys know and love in the FGC, and we can learn more about them. Outside of fighting games and within fighting games. So, how you doing today, Pokchop?
I'm doing good. Just got off work not too long ago. Trying to stay woke.
No, I feel that, man. Them long days, hard days of work, man. You be ready to come home and relax. So we definitely get that, man. But definitely Mr. Mount for the South, Mr. No Round Brown, man. We're here today for the interview him, learn some more stuff about him. So we go ahead and get into it, man. I ain't gonna hold too much of your time, but so we know you in the ATL scene right now, but are you homegrown in ATL? You born in the ATL?
Yeah, homegrown, born and raised, and still reside.
Cool. I know it's different in Atlanta now. You be hearing a lot about a lot of people out there now. For people who was born in Atlanta and what Atlanta is now, how much busier it is, the traffic and all that stuff, man.
Oh yeah, the traffic is unreal sometimes.
Man,
actually all the time.
I went to Atlanta once and I was like, this is the worst traffic I'd never seen in my life. Like I was like, I think the only thing that could beat it is probably LA. People say LA traffic is horrible, but I was like, this ATL traffic is something else. But we was going down there to Lenox Mall. That's the big mall in the ATL. But we was going down there. The traffic was atrocious.
Yeah, going down that area. It's kind of rough going. It's because it's traffic going two types of ways going down there. So I know exactly what you're talking about, especially getting off the highway around about 400. And it's two ways to get to Lenox, and both ways have traffic for nothing.
Yeah, it was severe out there, man. I was like, you know what? I don't see how people living out here, but people show a lot of love for the ATL, and Tekken is one of the greatest scenes in the ATL as far as the FGC. But we go ahead and get into it, man. So, we want to start off. How did you actually get into fighting games, man? Like, how did this start off for you?
Well, it started off for me. I was watching my cousin and my brothers play this game called Dodgeball on Nintendo. Back in the early 90s, late 80s. I was watching them play, and they would never let me play. So you could say that was the mark of me getting that one more game, man, because I knew I could never really get a chance to play when I was younger. But I always watched them play, and I just learned from just watching them play. I just knew what to do. So one day they went in the kitchen and left the game on, and I picked up the controller and I was playing dodgeball for like about 5 minutes, and then I ran it out. It's like, hey, how y'all run and throw the ball? They were surprised that I could play the game at like 4 or 5. They was like really surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then they let me start playing, and then Street Fighter 2 came out. Street Fighter was already out, but that was out. I believe Street Fighter was. I don't even know if that was even on Nintendo, or I think that was only like maybe arcade type of game. But Street Fighter 2 had just came out, and it was on Super Nintendo. And my cousin had got it, and he taught me how to do fireballs, and I instantly picked it up. And so you could say I was pretty much a genius at a very young age, at like 7 or 8. And but Street Fighter 2 was my very first fighting game, and then my next fighting game was Mortal Kombat when it came out, and then I went on to venture into like Killer Instinct when they came out on Super Nintendo. You had Clay Fighters, so forth and so on. But Street Fighter was my first fighting game. I think I was between 7 or 8.
Yeah, man, you almost sound like my story, man. I remember my cousin and them, they had the Super Nintendo back then, and I was sneaking play X-Men Apocalypse when they wasn't around. Yeah, that was my favorite game back in the day, man, the X-Men Apocalypse. But I was playing it. But the first fighting game I touched was it's kind of like you was a Street Fighter game. It was Street Fighter Alpha 2. I touched that game and man, I was hooked ever since. I can remember like trying to figure out like, okay, I could do a fireball, but how do you do that motion twice in a row to get the super?
Oh
So
yeah, so we
yeah,
didn't have supers. We didn't have supers when I started playing. So
yeah. So yeah, you sound like almost me, man. But so you sound like most people. Street Fighter was the first game, but like, how did it transition actually into Tekken being the one that you like mostly centered around?
so I started playing Tekken around about Tekken 3.
Mm,
Well, not around about Tekken. I started playing when Tekken 3 first came out. We was playing on PlayStation, and my cousin. We was already we had already been playing Bloody Roar. Bloody Roar was the first 3D game that we was actually playing.
mm.
Or was no it wasn't. The first 3D game we was playing was dang, it's a virtual. It's like it looked like a virtual fighter game. It was on Nintendo 64. Trying to remember the name of it. Fighters Destiny. That's the name of it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Fighters Destiny was the first 3D type of game that we was playing, and reminded us of Tekken reminded us a little bit of Bloody Roar when Bloody Roar had the side steps, and Fighters Destiny. So we started playing that, me and my cousin, and it was just dragging me from Tekken 3 to Tekken Tag, then from Tekken Tag, Tekken 4. But then Tekken 4 came out. Is when I started competing. I started going down to the underground arcade, and that's when I found my true love of Tekken. Playing it in the arcades and
Oh, okay, okay.
talking trash. Cause I've been talking trash, man. Like trash been taught to me like since I was 8 years old. So that's just something that just naturally was doing in the house. That's what we used to do. We'd be
Bend them out
playing,
to the south, huh?
yeah, man. Playing GoldenEye with my brothers and my cousins. Just man, talk about so much trash being talked, and it was
Bro,
dirty trash too.
these kids don't know nothing about GoldenEye, man. You talking about a classic on the
Yeah, hey man, the
N64.
start of it all, man. Start of it all. But yeah, Tekken. When I started competing in Tekken 4, that's when I started, really found love for Tekken.
Yeah, man, people show love for them old school Tekkens, man. One of our people here at TVFGC, Mr. Gamer, left those old school Tekkens like Tekken 3. He really shows love for them, man.
Mm.
Defining for the fighting game genre, especially 3D. Um, so yeah, man. So how was the Tekken scene back in the day? When did you first start getting into it in the ATL? When did you first start getting into like competitive playing? I know you just spoke about the arcades and stuff like that, but when was that for you? Like around what time was that for you?
Um, I want to say 2002, 2003, maybe. Might have been a little bit earlier than. Well, see, I was final round was I would think I was 16. I was 16 when I first competed in the tournament. Um, that's when when I was 16 is when I actually started being competitive because final round was my first tournament. So it
Okay.
was definitely Tekken 4. And when I started going to the arcade, it was like back to back. Everything fell into place like right then and there, within a year. So I started going to the arcade. I started competing right then and there. And I mean, so basically, I've been competing since I was 16. So it's been about 21 years now.
Final round was legendary, man. Final round was actually the second major that I ever went to. Final round in the ATL. I was staying in Tennessee, and we drove all that way to go to final round, man. Yeah, I mean, final round has some history, man. I'm actually cool. One of the people who was actually TOs over at Calm Warrior Jaw, David. So shout out to him. But man, like Final Round has a long history in the ATL, huh?
Yeah, it definitely has. It's the start of a lot. It's the start of it all, actually. It's the start of it all. I mean, Final Round was the only tournament that we had, so we had to wait a whole year
Yeah.
for a tournament until I I took it upon myself to start tournaments in the arcade. So that was like a monthly type of basis thing that I was doing. So everybody started coming out to the arcade to play on one cabinet, and tournaments go on all day on this one cabinet. But everybody came together, everybody had fun, so that was it was all about. And then we started doing tournaments, and Rob the Destroyer started doing tournaments at his house. So we started going to his house for doing tournaments and started doing console. So
Well, we know 404 Esports is going strong now in the ATL as far as locals, but were there any locals that was popping off before that in the ATL, like some OG locals?
um, well, yeah, you had well, first you had Atlanta Revival, which I ran. It was a monthly. Then we also had Impact Clash, which was our quarterly tournament. So then came Gwinnett. Well, before that we had the pizza tournaments. The pizza tournaments are like a monthly. It was held in Riverdale. People from all over used to come. Even LOC came up to one. Lock. Um, we used to run them there for Tekken 5.0. Then we had the Atlanta Revival tournaments for Tekken 5DR to Tekken 6. Then you had Gwinnett Brawl came about. Gwinnett Brawl was a monthly, and they also had their weeklies. Then you had man, we had so many. You had Emotions tournament. It was where 404 is located, but it was like down around. It was in the same plaza, but around the building. Um, then you had the Red Bull Conquest tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you had so much, man. We had tournaments like every other week, like big tournaments. Well, at one point.
Yeah, I like hearing this stuff, man, because I can't even say I'm a 09er. I'm like a 2017er. So I love hearing this history of stuff that was going on in the FGC. Hearing the people that laid the foundation before you and stuff like that. But man, so well, let me say this before I forget it. It's not on my list of questions, but I've been to tournaments and I've seen you playing like MVC tournaments and stuff like that, money matches and stuff like that. So,
it's Marvel, baby.
It's Marvel, baby. So, so where does MVC like fit in your fighting game history?
That was my second game that I competed in. Was Marvel versus Capcom 2. I actually was playing. Only reason why I didn't play Marvel 2 in the earlier final rounds was because I didn't have a stick at the time and I was like scared to compete in it. But I've been playing Marvel 2, well, not since it came out in 2000, but I say 2004, 2005, I was playing it. And I had some of the best in the South to play at the time. So I got good really quick. But that was my true love right there.
Yeah.
Next to actually loved Marvel vs. Capcom more than I love Tekken.
Really, I was about to sit here and ask you, man, if you had to choose between MVC 2 or Tekken 3, which one you choose?
MVC 2 all day.
Oh man, it's easy for you.
It's that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the type of game where, yeah, you pick top tier, you win. Not necessarily. If you're not good with that team, if you're not good, you're not winning. You didn't have no crutch. You didn't have no crutches. You didn't have no X factor. You didn't have nothing to. You didn't have no combat factors. You had to be real. You had to be good. And that game there, if it was very unforgiving to scrubs.
Yeah,
it was scrub. You wasn't winning.
Yeah, that's some stuff that's going on right now. People talk about these combat mechanics and stuff like that when it comes to like fighting games. It's like, man, you shouldn't be rewarded if you lose, and man, you got to get good.
Right.
So I guess you on that side of like, hey man, you got to get good, man. We ain't rewarding you for losing.
It's the most backwards thing I ever seen in my life.
But when it came to competing, what was it that made you lean more towards competing in Tekken than it was that you was competing in, Marvel vs. Capcom?
I was winning more. I was winning more in Tekken.
Hey, that's a simple, sweet answer, man. I mean, keep it real. So going back to like the origins of you competing, when was it that you realized like, okay, man, I might be dope enough at this game to actually compete with some of these people at these tournaments and stuff like that? Like, when was that realization that like, okay, man, I'm just as good as these other guys? Because a lot of people, we play fighting games. Like me, I play fighting games, but I know like, okay, like I ain't like everybody else, But when was it that you realized like, okay, like I can compete with these other people?
Well, for me, it wasn't. I didn't realize that I could compete with everybody. It's just I just money matched anybody. That's what it was for me. I shoot when Nin and Nee first came over here for final round, when Tekken 6 was just coming out. Man, I money matched both of them and lost, but I ran up on them. Like I used to have long lines of people to money match me, sitting down, and I was winning all of them, taking people money. I mean, I was just like, I'm finna just play for money, because playing for money make people be playing for real. Ain't nobody gonna be like, oh, I wasn't playing for real. Yeah, you just lost $100. Yeah, right. So people was like, I can't go in here losing this money. So, but me doing that so much, it was just a natural thing for me to be like, I'm just gonna go in, I'm finna beat you down and keep going. And I mean, I didn't really think about it; it just happened. So whenever I hear somebody, a big name coming up, I say, "Oh, it's a big name. I want to take that name." I go in, I beat him. Wouldn't think enough of it. I mean, I always fall short of winning, but winning the tournament, I get like, oh man, how many years straight I got third at every tournament I went to for Tekken 6. It was annoying. But but I won a KIT. I won a KIT for Tekken though. But shoot, man, I didn't care who was at the tournament. I'm running up on them. I was just running up on them. I wasn't thinking. That's the thing. I didn't think nothing of it. I just did it, and that's why I won so much. And now it's like, oh, I gotta play this guy. I'm losing. Now I lose because I'm thinking about it. That's what you got. That's what a lot of these players got to get out of the mindset of, oh, I got to play this guy. Oh man, I don't even think about it. Just go in and do what you got to do. Because I'll only let a name beat me one time, and that was Jackie Tran at final round, because he was the previous Evo champ. Tekken 5 had just came out, and I just knew I was gonna lose, and I almost beat Jackie Tran. It came down to the last game, came down to the last round with me and him, and I was playing Bruce, and I was like, wait a minute, I could beat you. And ever since that moment, I never let a big name beat me. I mean, I never let a big name scare me. So I got out of it. So I didn't care who you were. I'm going to play you. I'm going to beat you.
That's some good stuff right there, man. Because a lot of these players nowadays, they get so psyched out. They psych themselves out. You go to these tournaments and you play these different people, and they see these people like more than human. Like you get into a tournament. Let's just say you playing Street Fighter, and Daigo in your bracket. You like, oh man, that's it.
No. 2D's different though. That different.
Yeah, 2D is different, but the principle is the same. Like, don't psych yourself out.
I don't know about that. Listen, you play somebody named Daigo. Listen, you just go and get ready for them loser bracket.
Hey Hey man, Nee is definitely a name that's like respected so much in the 3D space that it's just he's basically you could almost say he's like 3D Daigo as far as like Tekken.
No, definitely 3D Daigo. He's more like a 3D Takedo and Daigo combined.
Yeah, Nee a legend, man. I can remember watching him. I just went to this year's Evo and I was covering, I was watching him play and stuff like that, man. And Nee is just on another level, you know, Evo champ, Evo Japan champ, another level, man. Fantastic guy, but you know, so when it comes to like the ATL scene, you know, there's a website called FGC Combo and stuff like that. We see they, you know, basically record a lot of stats and stuff like that as far as like tournaments, and we see you placing first in a lot of these tournaments and stuff like that at 404 esports and stuff like that at the locals and whatever. So how do you feel like the Tekken scene is one of the toughest scenes in the US as far as like Tekken? Do you feel like that's one of the scenes that if you really want to get you some runs in, you want to really get you some you want to really get your name, well, not your name out there, but you really want to, you know, get some practice in and stuff. ATL is one of the toughest scenes in the US.
At one point, it was the best and toughest at one point. But now it's still a competitive scene. It took a lot. I had to do a lot to get it to where it is now, but it's definitely there. Players come here and get dusted. Top players come here and get dusted. Like it's still as strong as it is. Well, I would say that it's still as strong as it was back then. Because back then we had 20 players that'll go. Let's see, how many of us went? 16 of us went to MLG. For those who don't know, MLG stands for Major League Gaming. It was a really big tournament back in the early 2000s. But 16 of us went to MLG, and the top 32 was like 12 of us. Top 8 was 5 of us. That lets you know how tough the ATL scene was. Our B team was beating Evo finalists. Our B team players was beating Evo finalists.
Talk about it.
So that lets you know how strong ATL scene really was. And then you have people who made other scenes are from Atlanta. Texas had Jop, Johnny on the Pot. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know who Jop is. Jop is from Atlanta. Then you had a Wario who went to the West Coast in Cali. He's a Jack player. He was revealed one of the best in the world at one point. He's from Atlanta. Yeah, a lot of those great players are from Atlanta. Jackie Tran, Evo champ, from Atlanta. He now lives in East. I believe he lives in Vegas now, but yeah, he's from Atlanta. Some of the best Tekken players in the U.S. are from the South, whether it be Florida, Texas, or Atlanta.
So I got 2 questions based off that. So you've been playing since Tekken 3.
Mm-hmm.
What version of Tekken do you feel like the ATL was the most dominant in? And also
Tekken 6.
Okay, Tekken 6. So you've seen a lot of players come through, you know, and stuff like that. You know, when we think about like the best player in the ATL, you think about the best player in the ATL. You've seen a lot of people, some who could still compete now, some who don't compete now, probably. Who do you say was the best player that you've ever seen as far as like Tekken play coming out the ATL?
Oh, Anakin. I mean,
Anakin
was the world champ. It was the world champ in Tekken 6. I mean, can't beat that.
Much to talk about, huh?
Yeah, it was the world champ in Tekken 6. Then you had Clint the Beast, who was a national finalist for Tekken 5.0. I mean, shoot, those some of the best talents that we've had here, and they still compete.
Who's your favorite person to watch when it comes to Tekken? Like, who's the best might not necessarily be your favorite, but who's your favorite to watch when it comes to Tekken?
I have to say, from my favorite to watch.
Your favorite Tekken player?
I want to say might be MIC, ATL might be him. When he gets going with King, people try to figure him out, try to get through his defense, and it just doesn't work. It'd be so funny to watch that. And then also you got Big Boy who lives here too. He's the Shang Tsung of ATL. He plays everybody, and he compete. I mean, he's top level with all of them. So watching him play with multiple characters and beat people, then watching Mike with his defense just tear people apart.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So going back to you known as the mouth of the South here in the FGC. And you spoke about this before, saying that y'all used to always trash talking when you were young and stuff like that. Do you feel like that was something that was always you, or you feel like that was something that your family members got you into, just trash talking and stuff like that, man? Because you brought it in the FGC, and it ain't nothing like you, man. It ain't nobody like
man, it runs in my family, man. My daughter trash talk. She like she was trash talking, and she had never seen me. This was before she even seen me compete.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just in here chilling one day, and she was playing a game and just running her mouth. I said, "Wow, it runs in the family." Like my brothers, my cousins, like it just runs in the family. My uncles runs in the family.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can remember. I remember the first time I actually saw you in person at tournament was final round. I think it was 2019. It was the final round where they first started implementing the clear backpacks, so they could see
Oh, yeah,
what
see
you were
through the
bringing
back,
to the
yeah.
tournament. Yeah. And I can remember seeing you there, man, and you was money matching a guy named D-Lo.
Oh, dang D-Lo, dog.
Hey, you was telling them like, man, don't you get Doo-Doo Brown, bro. But yeah, man, that was the first time I saw you, and I was recording that out. And me and my wife now, even my wife, like, she's not really into the FGC, but if I say Pokchop, she know who I'm talking about. So you.
Hey, man, D-Lo some good money, man.
Yeah, man. It seemed like you made it seem like it was easy for to take it up off of, man. He just couldn't help himself but to go ahead and money match you. But hey, he believed in himself. That's the first thing you got to do when you come to fighting games. You got to believe in yourself. So this is a question that I've always wondered, man. What was the inception of the No Round Brown? Where did it come from, man? Like, how did you come up with that?
Well, I never came up with No Round Brown.
Okay.
I only made it famous. Well, made it famous outside of Atlanta, I should say. But it came from the underground arcade. Nobody knows who started it. It's just we was going down there, we was talking trash. Somebody said, "Oh, he getting No Round Brown," and I'm like looking over there, like just something that was just being said in the underground arcade. Don't know who started it. Clint swear up and down he started it, but nobody believes him. But I mean, it was just a term that was being used. You getting toe out the frame, No Round Brown. And then when I played Real Law, yeah, I know the rest about that. Shout out to Real Law, man. My boy, my boy, man.
Yeah, you definitely popularized it, man. I mean, when it comes to No Round Brown, when you hear that, you think of Pokchop, So let me ask you this: you've been to many different tournaments and stuff like that. All across the U.S. performing and stuff like that, playing in tournaments. What's your favorite major that you've went to? We gonna say outside of final round because that's ATL.
Man. It's definitely Big E tournaments, man.
Big E tournaments. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's my dog, man. Winter Brawls. No, I've only been to one Winter Brawl, but definitely Summer Jams. Man, I just love Big E, man. He's an over cool guy, man. Like he's all around. He's just a cool person to be around, talk to. That he shows you so much love, man. So it's always his events, you know. Feel like I'm at home when I go to his events.
Yeah, one thing. I mean, I'll say this: Big E tournaments. He has a long history, man. Like Big E been doing this stuff for a while. Like, here at TVFGC, we'll be doing a lot of research on, like, we'll do like Flashback Friday event clips and stuff like that. And Big E been doing this stuff for so long, man. You can't even find film or results for the tournaments that he been running, man. He been doing that for this long. So, Big E is definitely an OG in the game, man. I saw him at Evo. That was my first time seeing him in person. I saw him at Evo. He been doing this stuff for a long time, man. They ain't even got records of how long he been doing this stuff online. So that's definitely true. I got to make sure I go to like a Northeast Championship or Winter Brawl or Summer Jam. Northeast NEC and Summer Jam seems like those are the ones that people really come out in droves for. So yeah, definitely got to make sure to go to one of those. So another question I'm gonna ask you. So we done seen a little bit of Tekken 8. We done seen trailers. We done seen a little bit of gameplay and stuff like that. And we actually reached out to you to ask you, what did you want to see? What did you want to see coming up in Tekken 8, different from Tekken 7? From all the stuff that we got, that we've seen from Tekken 8 so far, what's your input on it, man? How are you feeling about it?
If it ain't Bruce in there, man, come on, it can kick rocks. I mean, I haven't seen the throws yet. I really want to know what the throw system is like. But I like the wall break. I like how they break the walls on there. Definitely loving how that looks. Still not a fan of this rage art crap, because with rage art comes armor. So I already know armor's probably still in the freaking game. I like the heat system that they got where aggression is being rewarded. But along with that, I'm hoping that characters aren't busted.
Mm-hmm.
Because characters like Harong, who can, hit you with low high that's guaranteed and keep going, that's not a good deal. Because you have no choice but to be defensive against a character like that. Because his lows are plus. When he hits you, he's just so plus in his stances. So a character like that, they're gonna get the aggression meter that they need at all times. So I don't know what to say about it just yet.
Yeah, when it comes to Tekken, we followed Harada for a while, and one of the messages that he said was he felt like in the future fighting games was going to go into AI, where basically like the game basically does like combos and stuff for you. And then also when it comes to like this, he's basically saying that okay, we want Tekken 8 to be more, offensive heavy, so it can be something that's more entertaining for people to watch and stuff like that. So it seemed like he's really trying to make it more for the consumer. But there's like a lot of fighting game players who's just like, man, you want to make sure there's defensive options because hey, this is a fighting game. You just don't want.
He should make a separate mode on the game that's tournament mode, where this stupid stuff is turned off for competitors. Yeah. You can still have your money making options, but make it up. But that you have tournaments for this game. So you put it in tournament mode in Tekken 7, where you can't press start. Make it mode where armor's turned off or something like that where throws is normal. Stuff like that.
Yeah, because going forward in the FGC, I mean, with this esports realm, and as we just go forward in time in general in life, things change. A lot of stuff is changing. A lot of stuff is going to be different. Things are going to morph in certain ways, and it's really like you can't expect like Tekken 8 to hold the foundational principles going back like to Tekken 2 and stuff like that. So, but also you want to hold true to what it is that the game was representing and stuff like that. So, but we'll see. Hopefully we get more. Well, definitely we'll get more news for Tekken 8. Hopefully pretty soon. So, but let me ask you a question. Did you ever play Mortal Kombat back in your old day? Like, was Mortal Kombat a game you actually messed with back in the day?
Yeah. Mortal Kombat was my second fighting game.
Second fight? Okay, cool. Which Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, the original. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played Mortal Kombat when it was on Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Or no, not Genesis, but Sega. When it was on Sega.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Nintendo.
See, it's good to hear this because we were Street Fighter heads, man. I did not play Mortal Kombat or Tekken. We were Street Fighter series. We didn't play that until we went to the Pizza Hut back in the day.
Fighting game fanatic. I played it all.
Bro, Soul Calibur was the one for me, man. Soul Calibur 2, oh man. One of my top 5 fighting games of all time. Did you mess with Soul Calibur?
I mean, I played it in the arcade. I never took it seriously. I tried to take 6 serious when it came out, but yeah, that didn't go so well. I never went 0-2 though. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, Soul Calibur. I mean, it's at a point we don't know if we're gonna see a 7, man. But we can only hope. But so you're actually sponsored by Infinite. So a lot of people, they have hopes and they have dreams. They can be sponsored by a different team and stuff like that. What advice do you have for people that actually want to be, sponsored by a team in the FGC? Like, what can you say to people that actually want to actually get to that point in their careers?
That's pretty tough. That's a tough question. I say, see if you're not, well, try to show dedication to a game that you're playing in and competing in. Make sure you show the dedication out there, like you trying to travel to all the tournaments and stuff like that. Like sponsors actually look at that. Like you're going to, you've been here, you made this, you made top in this, but also you got to have a personality too. You have to be marketable. They're looking for, some sponsors are looking for players that are marketable. Others are just looking for players that win in everything. Those type of sponsors usually don't last too long. But sponsors that look for players that are marketable inside and outside the game, they last a whole lot longer. And those are the sponsors that you want. Also, you want sponsors that care for you and not only what you can do for them. But it's actually pretty hard. It's pretty tough out here because, like I say, most sponsors only want players that are winning. Other sponsors only want players that are marketable. So it's hard. It's hard. It's very competitive for that. That type, it's hard to even offer any advice on that. But as I said, go for sponsors who care for the player, and that's about all I can say. Make sure they care about you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is hard to actually give advice on this stuff because so many people are looking for it. So many different, sponsors are looking for different things, and being marketable nowadays, man. I mean, that's just a job in itself with so many people putting out content and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. So it's definitely a job. We put out content consistently and stuff like that, and you have to understand like this is a grind, man. I mean, some days it's gonna be good, some days it won't. You got to keep with it, and that dedication, man, it's something else. Dedication is something else. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever it is, you got to get out there and got to get the content out there.
Yeah.
Pump the content, got to get it done, man.
Gotta get out there in the streets.
Yeah. So another question we have for you, man. So you're basically king of the money match, it seems, man. You're the king of the money match. What's the rules of a money match, man?
I couldn't
Like
wait for that.
what's
Listen,
the rules of the money match, man?
number one rule, just like gambling in the hood, you always give your opponent a chance to win the money back at least one time.
Mm.
That one and done jump? Oh nah, that ain't. Listen, when there's money involved, that ain't a smart idea. That has happened to me so many times, and it's so annoying. Like you're just going to one and done. Don't even play if you're going to one and done. Like that makes people, that actually causes fights. I've seen it happen. Like one and done somebody. Oh, somebody's finna fight. It's like hey man, two people did me like that at Evo, man. I was like, oh, you lost all my respect. Then I ran into that player at Summer Jam and tournament. Oh my God, he got popped off on. I beat the brakes off him and popped off hard. I said, "Oh, you thought I forgot about you? I've been waiting on you." It's like, hey, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful enough. Yeah, but you got my money in your pocket, though, right? Come on, man. But yeah, rule one: always give your opponent a chance to win their money back at least once. All right. Rule two: after you win the money, don't just say good games and walk off. Don't pop off. I don't even do that. Unless I know the person and I know their personality, I'm like, oh, I could talk, But yeah, just say good games and walk off because that can cause some ruckus too. Just overall be ethical, No, don't be no a-holes about it. Because it's still having fun. It's still all about fun, but now you got some greenery involved. But definitely follow the first two rules. Give your opponent a chance to win the money back at least once, and don't be disrespectful after you win the money.
That's one thing, man. You spoke about, know the person before you pop off and stuff like that. Because so many people, they might look up to you when it comes. Because this thing going around now where the FGC needs to be like WWE. Well, we create a spectacle. People have these personalities, they popping off and stuff like that. But you got to know how to do that, man. Everybody ain't going for that, so. You got to know how to do that correctly, man. We've all seen those people when they lose a match, they mad, man. They beating their controller, throwing it across the room. You pop off on them, man. You never know what's gonna happen. So that's one thing you got to be aware of. I think I've heard you say another rule of the money match, man, is if you go put your money up, the money got to be on the table. We need to see it.
Oh yeah. How could I forget about that? Money on the wood is always good. I had learned that from somebody. I was at the Emotions tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It was playing Madden. The most hood tournaments you can go to. Oh, going to a Madden tournament? You asking for something. You asking for some trouble. But Yeah, guy was saying, "Now put the money on the table. Money on the wood always good. It was betting $100 a game. They're betting $100 a game.
Mm.
So yeah, I took that saying from them. It was like, shoot, money on the wood is always good, baby. Like do. But yeah, see, money. If I see the money in front of me, I always play better. But all that cash app stuff, I lose. Cause it's like I don't see the money in front of me. I don't have no motivation.
Bro, you ain't lying. The Madden tournaments, man. When people start standing up and stuff like that, you know somebody type. When they're playing Madden, you got to be careful when you're playing Madden, man. A little bit of 2K, but Madden, that's the number one right there, man. So I can remember growing up I grew up in Mississippi, so a lot of people, we was a lot of video games. Most of people in our culture would play. It was Madden and 2K. You might get a little few people that play a fighting game, but it was Madden and 2K with sports games, man. A little bit of Call of Duty in there. I still say Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was like one of the best times in gaming ever. People being online and stuff,
Oh
man.
man,
Oh my god,
them Call of Duty and them Gears of War chats, man, it was toxic,
bro.
man. Golly, I know
Bro,
all about that. I used to be in the Gears of War chats, so I know how toxic. I know how toxic them shooters can be. Oh,
yeah, it's a different level, man. So thankfully, the FGC ain't reached. I don't think the FGC didn't reach that level of toxicity, man.
nah, it's
Call of Duty,
too
Gears.
much
Oh
cancel
my
culture,
gosh.
too much cancel culture going on at FGC. So yeah, it ain't gonna ever reach that level.
Yeah. Oh man, it wouldn't. It wouldn't make it back in the day. It'd be so many people cancel back in the day, man.
Right.
From Call of Duty. Oh man, no. But but yeah, man. So we ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. So last question we got for you, man. What are some of your future goals to accomplish in the FGC, man? You still here in the scene, you doing your thing, you know what I'm saying? You pushing forward and stuff like that. What are some things you're still setting out to accomplish in the FGC? What keeps Pokchop coming back to the FGC?
Um. Well, right now I'm looking to becoming more of a TO than anything. Trill Shola and myself, for those who don't know, we run a tournament called ABO. It stands for Atlanta Battle Opera. For the OGs, I know you remember ABO. I mean not ABO. SBO, Super Battle Opera. For the Japanese tournament from back in the day. But yeah, ABO is a tournament that we run every year. We're working on. We didn't run it last year because of COVID, but we're working on something to land something down for either later on this year or early 2024. But yeah, that's what I'm pretty much venturing into now. Going back into TOing and pretty much take up the mantle where Larry, the owner of Final Round, where he left off at. So
Shout
me,
out to
Shola,
Larry.
me and Shola, pretty much gonna try to take that mantle up, and see what we can do, what we can. That is my long-term goal, and that's my final goal to do that, and to I've already done what I set out to do 20 years ago, to make a name for myself and to leave a mark on the community. I've already done that. So my next goal is to bring joy to everybody, to bring joy to everybody now.
Is Larry still active in the FGC? I haven't heard about him in a while. Is he still active in the FGC?
I would say not really. No. But he streams now. But he streams sports. With him commentating on the sports. Well, for those who don't know, you can follow him at Shin Blanca on Twitch, and he streams. So,
Yeah, I
but
was
as far as
hoping.
FGC, I don't see him too much. It's
Yeah,
FR underscore Shin Blanca.
I was hoping final round, a lot of the classic Southern stuff. You got KIT. They did their finale. Um, Final round, it seemed like they had their finale. I'm still hoping that that's not the case, man. I'm still hoping we can get these things to come back because the South needed, man. You don't have too many majors in the South.
Right.
KIT and final round, that was about it.
That and CEO.
CEO, yeah, in
Yeah,
Florida.
that's pretty much it.
But a lot of people count
Because
Florida as the East.
hmm?
A lot of people count Florida as the East.
That don't make sense, but okay. Florida's right up on the Georgia.
Definitely. But yeah, I was, KIT was my first major I ever went to, period. So Ian, Vandy, I hated when I got that news that was probably gonna be their last tournament coming up. But COVID, I mean, it messed up a lot of stuff, man.
Now, COVID is what pretty much killed final round. Because when COVID happened, he had already had his deposit down for the hotel and all that. He lost all that money.
Yeah,
there's no coming back from it,
man. You ain't getting that back.
Yeah, so he lost all that money, and he was like, you know what? The hate that he received from the FGC was sickening. So he was like, you know what? I've given y'all 20 plus years of my life to create a legacy for you all, and this is how y'all treat me. He's done. Cannot blame him. Cannot blame him.
Yeah, and I throw something personal out here, man. I just wish the younger folks in the FGC could really recognize and respect what the older guard did for the scene, man. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for no. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for no, Big E Gaming doing what they did back in the day. Final round doing what they did back in the day. I'm talking about these. Battle by the Bay. These people, you can go way back in the past and stuff like that and see what they did. If they wouldn't have did what they did, the scene would have.
Scene definitely wouldn't be what it is now.
It wouldn't. So, but we really gotta learn what that C in FGC really means. So hopefully that's something that we can get going in the future. People really understand and stuff like that. So, but that's definitely true, man. We wouldn't be where we were right now without the the OGs doing what they did, man. So, but yeah, man. So that's all we got. That's all the questions I have for you, man. Let the people know where they can find you. You
can find me on all social media platforms at Pokchop 50. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch as well. And I'm always on Twitter. And also, you can find me on IG at Pokchop 50.
You can co-sign. He's on Twitter, man. He's active. He responds to the fans, appreciates the fans and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's all we got for this one, y'all. We appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate Pokchop for you, doing this interview with us. Right off work, man. We know, it ain't easy. So, we really appreciate it. But you've always shown us love. From when you was on Input Output back in the day, and when we saw you at Evo, we just ran up on you. Was like, hey man, we can do an interview, and you was like, man, yeah. So I appreciate it, man. But we'll see you guys next time on the next interview, man. Peace out.